diverse area. We have a lot of families with young children. And we have diversity of families that reflects diversity of, the broader Australia. So it's a very, very diverse community, and Globe has an approach where we strive to work very much with the community and as a part of the community. And as we do that, we reflect that diversity of community through everything that we do at the preschool, in our environments, in the cultural celebrations and events that we hold, and also through activism and advocacy for rights of children and families.
Windsor Preschool is situated in the Hawkesbury Valley. We're a long-established not-for-profit preschool managed by a parent committee. It started 36 years ago as a one-room centre with army huts a long time ago, and was set up as a service to help parents who weren't working, and has since developed into quite a viable and well-known centre. We've been recognised in the community as providing a valuable education and care to the children. We get a lot of re-enrolments, so we've got a good place in the community. People know about us. So the area's changed a lot over the 25 years that I've been working here, very much so. But it's still the core of the low income and Aboriginal families. Our local school is made up of 60% Aboriginal families, and we work closely in with them as well.
And Gunnedah has got an interesting community. There's a lot of young people and a lot of old people. There's a lot of people on very, very low incomes, and there's very few on a high income. There are some moderate incomes, but not a lot. When I came here 20 years ago, it was a very poor preschool. The paint was falling off the walls. There was a terrible chainmail fence that anyone could have climbed over. The garden was an absolute mess. It was just a dreadful dump. So we sort of took it on as our philosophy here at the preschool that we didn't really care what else we did, but we wanted to provide a place which was really super duper.
Marrickville Council is committed to ensuring access and equity for families from low incomes and from culturally, linguistically diverse backgrounds, and also children from Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander backgrounds. So there's always been a very strong promotion for all of our services to engage with those communities, and we have always had a subsidy for families from those target groups so that they can access the preschool. A few years ago we went through the National Quality Standards accreditation process, and we took it really seriously and put a lot of work into it and got quite a lot out of it actually. We did receive a result of exceeding in all areas, which we were thrilled about, and then we were actually lucky enough to be invited to become apply to become a Centre of Excellence, which we were also successful on.
Yeah, one of the things we have noticed over the last 12 months is the number of 4-year-olds who are leaving us and going to school. And this is a direct result of the funding, because now we're enrolling more 4-year-olds, we're not enrolling as many 3-year-olds. The consequence will come that there will not be very many children enrolling in preschool unless we can change our marketing, unless we change our funding.
Prior to the funding, we used to take up to 15 2-year-olds and 35 3 to 5-year-olds. We're working towards a model now where we'll no longer be having those 2-year-olds. So if you like, I guess those 2-year-olds will either be, those 15 places will be, hopefully absorbed through 15 extra places for school age eligible children if we can find the children. and that's the way that's going to move, I imagine. And when it all comes down to it, the dollars will be attached to school-age eligible children and equity children, and we will have to target those groups. But Marrickville Council, as I said, is always about meeting community needs and meeting family needs. So, you know, there's dialogues to happen, and over the next 2 years, I imagine that, you know, there'll be lots of consultation with all the stakeholders, and I imagine next year that will occur. And then they'll be looking at reflecting fees that, you know, are lower for 4-year-olds and equity children, etc.
I have closed one room in the week, and only instead of 40 places will be 20 places that time. But what I'm doing instead is starting a playgroup for under 2s, so that we'll invite the parents who've got younger siblings to come to a playgroup who will be led by an EC teacher, and so it will be quite a structured, well-run educational playgroup, hoping that will stimulate more enrolments and just changing the pattern a little bit, which will be quite exciting.
Have a bus that took 3 years to get. It's not our bus. We actually found to get our own bus was too hard. No one would fund you. And then we had to maintain it. We didn't really feel we had the skill to do that. So we went to Community Transport, who are local council, and we hired a bus from them.
But we're finding with the partnership with Nagru, I was able to make partnerships with the Darrick families in the area. Kinship ties came into it. And that provided a lot of cultural work, because the parents then would come in and show the cultural practices of the Darrick area here, and we're learning the Darrick language as well, and Darrick songs, so all that has become very embedded in the program. So much so that when we had a big gala day just a couple of months ago, we had more non-Aboriginal families joining in and being very interested in what we were doing and joining in with the cultural activities. And I thought that was a great success, that we'd taken down some barriers within the families and our centre. And I thought that rated as a very successful day to have. The inclusion was collaborative, and it was very, very good. Both Aboriginal families and our mentors and our Darrick women were very, very proud and pleased about that. So I was happy too. And we've had a lot of cultural training too. Through having these events, the staff have learnt a tremendous amount as well. So that's very, very positive for us, and as staff, as children and parents, and as the centre as a whole. It's been wonderful.
We also identified through our quality improvement plan and our Centre of Excellence work that we wanted to increase the number of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children in the preschool. So we did a lot of work with local groups, Multi-Mix Mob, who are a grassroots play group, and there was a woman, Nicole Ryan, who we worked together with to form a relationship, and then through that relationship and trust, Nicole would refer children to the preschool. So that was the way that we actually increased were able to increase our enrolments of Aboriginal children and Torres Strait Islander children. Next year we're actually employing an Aboriginal educator, and so I think that's going to really provide us with a lot of insight, and it's just going to strengthen what we're doing.
I have always been really active in the community, so I go to lots of community meetings. I go to Gunnedah Family Support, and I go to the local Indigenous interagency meetings. So I get to know all of the people. We employ Aboriginal staff, and we work really closely with our Aboriginal families. So if they're struggling with things, we do things that preschools wouldn't normally do. Like I've been to doctors with them to explain that they need to see a paediatrician, then I go to the paediatrician with them to talk about what the children need, because often the parents can't explain that, and it's too daunting for them. So we've got a good reputation within the community, and we just keep at that. We just keep working. You need to work with the organisations that know the families and the children before you're going to get them. And that's what I've always done, as well as working with the interagency groups and getting to know the Aboriginal elders, because they're the ones that are going to give you the good reputation in town. They'll say, oh yes, I know Carol from the Gunnedah Preschool, yep, she's good down there.
So our marketing has changed. We have some very big signs in the local shopping centres, which we hadn't had before. We've now got a website which has been overhauled, and we've never had that before. We've been doing that over the last 12 months. We've been doing letter drops, we've been inviting the schools in, we've got pamphlets at the schools and the local health centre and the doctors, the employment agencies, Centrelink. I think we've been just about everywhere you can possibly think to go in hope, and the school, a lot of the committee have gone around and door knocked, and now it's a lot of word of mouth. Yeah, go and see Janet's centre. She's got families like us, is the comment we get, and they do lots of work about writing in an Aboriginal way and learning the Darug language. That's the sort of feedback I'm getting from the families, which is exactly what we wanted. Exactly what we wanted.
So we developed a flyer. So we distributed it in the community and also through our families. And from that we did get some families from the school, some from the community, and some from other services who were interested in coming and finding out about Globe. And we also did get some interest as a result of becoming a centre of excellence as well.
We hesitated to get into social media because we didn't feel we understood it, and we were always terrified of what would happen, especially with Facebook and things like that. And we really only did it because we found we couldn't communicate with parents. When we first put the Facebook up, it was just an immediate hit. And the really brilliant thing about it is that not only does it reach our parents, but our parents send it off to their friends and to their relations, and they like it. And, my sisters all like it, so they know what I'm doing. And all the aunties and the grandmas are all liking it, so they're getting a continual feed of, the Christmas concerts on, don't forget what time, and it's water play week, don't forget your swimsuits. And it's just amazing. Because people are liking it and their friends are seeing it come up on their feeds, then they will talk to the parents about the preschool and they'll bring their children to preschool.
Yep.
Because, apart from the fact that they find out about the preschool,
yep,
they would love their child to be in a preschool that puts up photos of what the kids are doing.
Most of the services in Marrickville are always full. We have fairly long waiting lists, and we've never really had to do that in the past because we hadn't had to target that particular group specifically. Kind of feels a bit weird that you're kind of like trying to poach 4-year-olds off some of your sister services. But the other way of looking at it is that they're just providing information for families, and it's there for them to make the choice. And I guess that's always been the case, really. So I think with the lesson that we learn is that, we really do need to be, number one, developing relationships and respectful relationships, and then also we need to be providing fairly low fees for families so that they can actually afford to come to the service and sustain their enrolment.
I often wish I'd followed the children, because after 20 years now, most of my children would be grown up and working that started here originally. But I don't even know whether it's benefited them. I'd like to know if it had. It feels pretty good. It's a really rewarding thing to do.